Guys, Incoherent Gamer here, and welcome to Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition for the PC. So this is the exact same thing if you got the console and all the DLC. So, let's continue on, shall we? So, my plan is to have a pretty comprehensive guide. There we go. So, this could be useful to beginners and someone with a little more experience than normal. I would say probably around average for actual game, actually good at the gameplay of this game. So off screen I flipped a coin and I got tail, so anybody that knows any 70s lingo, chasing tail obviously means female. And then I decided, well, we have to go with something that sounds somewhat like a Dark Souls name, so I went with Celine. So, let's start here. I'll describe a little bit of the classes here. For beginners, I would suggest Warrior, because he's a pretty overall general guy, and he'll allow you to get a good understanding on weapons, any kind of weapons you choose, except for magic, really. And a good understanding of the general guarding and other parts of this gameplay. Knight would also be a good one just because they have high HP and they're pretty hard to hit past their shields, so generally the Knight's also a good one. And finally Pyromancer, just because he starts at soul level 1. As you can see, some of these guys aren't the same level, and just with Pyromancer you get that more of a chance to more personalize your guy easier and have that much more better chances at actually leveling him up much more than, let's say, the Knight at level 5. There's really not anything else here. For somebody looking for something like a fast moving character, a Wanderer and a Thief is pretty good, but I would say the Wanderer wins that out. If you want just straight damage dealing, I would just say Bandit with some investments into his vitality and endurance would make a pretty good one too. Hunter is a good source of mixture damage from far away, and then there's like Sorcerer and Cleric. I don't really know anything about the sorceries, but currently my friend is playing for his second playthrough as Sorcerer this time, and he says it's considered easy mode to him, though he's in 1 or 2 areas right now that's giving him some trouble. For this mission, I am planning to go with a build that focuses basically on dexterity, but for a good chunk of time I am keeping my strength and dexterity around the same because of a weapon I want later on. So with that, I am actually going to go with the Warrior just because it does start with that even base for the strength and dexterity. Gifts are nice things at the beginning, but in the end you can get every single gift here. Just quick going through, Goss's Blessing is a item that you can normally get, though it's pretty rare. I've only seen 2 off the top of my head that I know where are they at, but that's about it. Black Fire Bombs are a little more powerful than the standard Fire Bomb you'll find, so not really worth it in my case, since you can find a Fireball, and just leveling up Pyromancy pretty easily can outbeat any Firebomb, for me at least. Twin Humanities are something you can find under most cases, so not really worth it. Not even for early having Twin Humanity on you, not really. Binoculars are more of the sightseeing kind of thing. You can look at plot related stuff around you, but if you're not going that far into the story, there is not really much use for the binoculars, and plus they're easily gotten pretty early in the game. So Pendant is one of the few things I don't actually know 100% about myself. I believe it's used in some way to get into a covenant. It's one of the few things I actually don't know a lot about, and it's like the covenant that I know the least about. So Master Key I would suggest for anybody, because it's quite useful early on, it's quite useful later on. though I'm not going to use it just because it is actually easily bought because of recent patches and things like that it's kind of easy to get earlier on, so, and I won't lose out that much for getting the Master Key. Plus, I'm planning to show off a lot of the areas, and I'm not planning to skip that many areas, so one of the main uses of Master Key is to skip what players really consider a really annoying part of the main story. So, the Tiny Being ring is an alright one. It's still alright, kind of easily gotten all the same. You can miss it, but at the same time, if you like exploring, you probably won't miss it. Instead of recovering slowly like it says, it actually just increases your health a little bit, so overall not that really useful. And finally, the Old Witch's Ring. All that I know from it is it's used in getting more story than what's originally shown, which is one of the parts that I really like about this game. If you, as much as you delve deep into it, it's how much you're going to get back from it. It's you barely get anything just going through the game. You'll get the main story and that's it, but if you want to learn about a character and other things, you just have to search for it yourself if you want to find answers. So what I usually get is either the Master Key or the Old Witch's Ring, because I do like the story you get from it. It's not a lot of story, but you still get some story out of it. I'm going to go with Old Witch's Ring here too, because the fact that I want to show off most areas, and to me the Master Key is only really used to get through one really difficult area, and then right after that you can easily buy it for 5,000 souls, I believe. If not, it's a little bit more. None of this stuff really matters, so it's just how you want to look. I will go with, large would be nice. I do have one favorite in here, and I like the Dragon Scholar's face. What do we got for hair? I normally play as a dude, and I usually go with like the ponytail because I'm normally a roguish type character, so it seems more right. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. Finally, hair and eye color, I will go with... we will go with gold. Gold's a nice one. So I'm going to be quiet for this next little bit for this opening cutscene. There's not a lot of cutscenes in this game, and this is the only reason why this is actually being recorded in such a actual low resolution, is because my game starts slowing down recording on some of these parts. So later on, if it's just gameplay, I'm going to have a higher resolution, but for some cutscenes I'm going to have to do 480p, so I'm sorry if you wanted to see some HD.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death. And of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bullets peeled apart their stone skills. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Alright there guys, welcome to Northern Undead Asylum. The first little area and could be considered the tutorial area of this game. So there's actually not that much going on here. You can come back a bit later on as a side area here, but right now there is not that much going on. So let's just continue. Make sure to grab that key from the dead body or else there's no way to get through. I don't even think the master key will work there. Look to the left here, or the right here, we'll see a nice little demon. Who's a good little demon? You are. I would suggest killing these guys. They won't attack you, so there's no point, but they do give a good little early start on your souls, so I would do so myself. And when you start, you only got this hilt, but we will be getting our actual weaponry and shield later on. So, since there is not actually a lot to talk about, I guess I can go over that beginning part, the cutscene. It's probably one of my favorite things of this game was that opening cutscene there. I think it's very well done. It does give you pretty much most of the story you actually need to know off the bat. They do an excellent job of just getting you the basics in this game just so you know kind of what's going on, there's a couple of points where you're just like, oh, I was actually doing this the entire time? Huh, I did not know that, but otherwise they do a pretty good point. So, a couple thousand years ago, the gods of this land, the Gwyn, Nito, the witches of chaos, and the pygmy, found these dark souls, and these were, or not dark souls, they were lord souls. Yeah, lord souls. Just walk past here because this guy will fall down and wreck your shit up. Okay. Found these lord souls, and they were finally able to overcome these dragons that were probably like the main lords of this area before them. And with that, they had a time of peace, of great building and things of that nature. And then the main source of what gained their powers started to... Oh, we just got our shield here. We'll quit that quickly. Careful of this guy here. He does have... You'll find in this game there's a lot of enemies with homing arrows. Just let him go and pick up our sword on this body here. But the power that gave them the power to stand up to the dragons who have been dwindling, and that's where we are at this point, is when it's like near death for the I forget what exactly it is that is dwindling in power, but it's pretty near death. So just kill that guy. As you can see, we do a lot of damage now with our actual sword. Whenever you go through a white wall, that means a pretty major area is coming up. Usually signifies a boss fight, but otherwise not that. Sometimes it's just like the halfway point through a small area. Careful when you walk up here. Roll by double tapping wherever your run button is. Come down here and open this gate, because this will be useful later on when you come back. And we'll go meet the friend over here that allowed us to escape.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I are both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Of course. This guy's name is Oscar, even though it's never said in-game.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family: thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the Undead Asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite.
He probably just gave us the most important item of the game.
Oh, and this.
And I guess this is second important, because we cannot move any further.
Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
Well, good night, sweet prince. So with that, we're able to go past this area up here. What the hell is that? Is that him just dying? I never heard that part before. I think that is actually him dying now. And we just got his souls, which is pretty bad. So also in the beginning area, beginning cutscene, you heard about undead. It's still not 100% clear what causes a person to be chosen as an undead. It might be something like vampirism, that if you just get like hit by undead or killed by undead, you will become undead, or if it's something you can curse upon a person, or if it's just you're born with it kind of thing. But what just happened to Oscar there is, after an undead dies and loses all of his humanity, so humanity is kind of a hard thing to explain in this game, because for NPCs it's something that they really truly care about and allows them to keep their sanity. For you, is just humanity is an item that you can use every once in a while. Pretty important part of the game. But when they lose that, they become hollow, and Oscar there is probably just died, and the next time we'll see him when we come back, he will be hollowed, and we will be forced to fight him. Now over here we are going to learn about behind attacks and critical hits. If you are a dexterous build, this is probably your main way of doing damage, is a parry and a backstab. Now for backstabs, you just get behind him and use your simple attack right behind him like so. I'm going to have to show you. Oh, he's still alive. So for parry, it's a little bit different. If you have a shield and you use your strong attack for your left hand, which is left bumper for me. I don't know what it is for the keyboard, because I find the keyboard controls pretty stupid in this game actually. And you have to do it at the right time to parry him, and then you got a chance to repose. So generally the best time to do it is during the forward strike. You can't do that on the shield part, but when he does the forward ooh, that was a little bit of a bad one. Forward strike, that's when he does it. So it's when it's coming towards you. Some shields have better timing than others, like the bandits. Not the bandit, the thief. Was he the bandit or the thief? I forget what the character is called. But his starting equipment is a pretty good parrying set, so it'll allow you to have a better chance. Now we have a good chance of fighting these guys. So when you drop down, do your light attack with your sword hand, and you will do a drop attack, which does a great amount of damage to this guy. So this is the first little boss here, the same Asylum. He's slow moving. He has some attacks that will quickly reduce your endurance. That's the green bar down there. But otherwise, it's pretty easy. You can two-hand your weapon by hitting Y for me. I don't know what it is for the keyboard. When he does that fly-up attack, kind of run away. And this is basically what the combat system for Dark Souls is. It's learning your opponent's moves and knowing how your character will react with his weaponry towards those moves, so that you know when to run away, when to is a good time to attack. Like that time was probably not the greatest, because I should have known that he would do that and that. Oh Lord, don't do that, don't do that! If you need to assist up anytime, just run away from this guy. You should be fine. He has no really far-reaching attacks. Let's see if we can kill him now. There we go. With that, you killed your first boss. Hooray! If you choose any of the lighter classes, like the Wanderer, that you might have a bit more of a tougher time killing the guy. I just went the wrong way, didn't I? Yeah. Oh well, we can stop at the bonfire and fully heal up here. Might have a little bit tougher time, so it'll just take that much longer. Nothing really else you can do about it. So from that we gain a humanity, which is, there's two types of humanity in this game. There's a resource one that you can see the 00 up there. It'll just show you up there how many humanity you have. And then there's the resource one, or the usable one, that you can pick up and use at any time to get a humanity. So basically just up at that hill is where we will go for our next area. There's a couple things that can be shown here though. I believe over here is...
You, give me warm, give me soft.
This is Snuggy. Snuggly, I think. Yeah, Snuggly. You can, when you return back here, you can drop off items to get some better items. I believe the way to get the old witch's ring that I have right now is by giving him a certain item there. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I will make mention of it later when we get to the part where the old witch's ring will be used. And over here, I believe, is... over here, I believe, yeah. Right here, you'll find a dead body with Soul of the Lost Undead. It's a kind of a nice thing just to have right off the bat. It's kind of useless by the time you come back here anyway, so might as well pick it up now. Oh, we're going to have another little cutscene up here as soon as we get up here, so I'll be quiet again.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the Undead Asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
And with that, we got out of the North Undead Asylum, and we're now at Firelink Shrine, more importantly, Lordran, where all this game will be mostly held at. There's a couple side areas, otherwise not here, and in different little areas like the Undead Asylum, but otherwise it's mostly here. In Lordran, level up and kindle at bonfire, or regain health at bonfires. So, for next time, I'm going to end it here. For next time, I'm actually just going to show around Firelink Shrine, as this is going to be your main hub world, as it has many shortcuts to other areas of the game. And I'll explain a bit more about story or something else if I think about it while exploring around this place. And I'll show off NPCs like that fellow over there. There's a fellow over there somewhere. But otherwise, this is the end of this. This has been Incoherent Gamer. This has been Dark Souls, and I hope you enjoy it. See you next time.